Welcome to Now You Know with Tyler Hawkins. Tonight's episode 2, is about ABBA. Tyler, what do you know about ABBA?
Well, I know that ABBA was one of the most successful pop groups of the 1970s, maybe of all time. They're from Sweden, and they won the Eurovision contest in 1974. And after that, almost everything they did turned to gold.
Who are the members of ABBA?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Well, there's 2 fellas and there's 2 women. And of course, they're married to each other. Not the girls, but the guys to the girls, the guys to the girls.
One man, one woman. 2 couples.
One man, one woman. That's right. 2 couples produce ABBA. There's Benny Andersson is married to Annifrid Lyngstad. That's the redhead. And then Bjorn Ulvaeus is married to Agnetha Falkskog. She's the blonde one.
Interesting. And
the name ABBA, which is ABBA, is the first letter of each of their names.
So Agnetha and Bjorn and
Benny and Annifrid.
Okay. All right. Well, it's time for some viewer questions.
Yes.
So
yes.
Jenna from Edmonton would like to know. She wanted to know how they chose their names. So obviously you just told us.
Well, what happened was, if I'm not mistaken, now some of this, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe it was their cousin, Stig Anderson, was Benny Andersson's cousin. I think he was the producer. And because their first album, their original first album, which was released in Sweden, had their full names on it. But then he said, well, it's too long. So he shortened it and made it ABBA, and it was the letter of each of their first names. That's how they got the name ABBA, if I'm not mistaken. I think he also produced came up with the very distinct ABBA sound, which is all of their instruments are tuned perfectly, except for a couple of them which are out of tune. And together that forms that ABBA kind of
just that distinct
ABBA sadness, if you will, because I think it was Benny who said that most Swedish songs have a degree of sadness to them. I think it was Benny, or I think it's either Benny or Bjorn who said that. I can't remember which one it was. Now,
I've heard it said that the 2 ladies in the band have some sort of rivalry. Is that...
A little bit. I think their rivalry was maybe like, the Lennon-McCartney rivalry, which, they each wanted to be the singer in the band. And, of course, they could sing better than the guys could. But they were still both very good. And I think they were both, decent friends. But, yeah, I think there was a rivalry. But some of them, I think, could sing better on one song than the one could sing on the other. I think that's how they divide. I'm not quite sure about that. So,
okay, we have another question.
Good.
Tracy from Edmonton. She wants to know.
Tracy, yes.
What is, in your opinion, is the best album of ABBA's?
What is their best album? Well, I have to say, I'm just going to say, out of the 8 albums they have, plus the live one, I would say that their latter stuff is a lot better than their two first earlier albums. That being the first one, Ring Ring, and then followed by Waterloo. I think that everything they did from ABBA onwards, ABBA being the third album, which is just called ABBA, is probably their best stuff. Now, their mega record was 1976 Arrival, I believe, that album, I think, put them on the map of international pop success. So I would say my favorite song is on that album, which is Knowing Me, Knowing You. That's my favorite song. But I also like their last album, which some people argue is maybe not as strong, or their worst album. But I disagree. I think The Visitors, which was 1982, I'm going to say I say that's a pretty solid album too. And I think my favorite song off that album is I think it's called The Visitors. I think it's the South.
All right. Okay. We have Lindsay, who would like to know what you think ABBA thinks about the musical and the movies, Mamma Mia, that have been made.
I think they really like it. I think the guys had input in that. I know they had, because the movies came out as a play first, and I think that they had something to do with that. And the movies were just a natural progression from the play of Mamma Mia, I think. I personally could not get into the movie. I tried to watch it and I could not get into it. But I think the guys are all about, keeping the name ABBA alive. I don't know so much about if the women are. I don't know if they really
Was there
really care that much
something about their royalties that they promised them to the government or something like that?
So that's another topic of discussion, because I've heard different things about how ABBA has how they've funneled their billions of dollars into different things, and I've had this discussion with a friend of mine who owns Free Cloud Records, which, if you ever need vinyl, talk to Rich from Free Cloud.
Shout out
to Rich from Free Cloud, because that guy is a plethora of he is he is a guru of music, and he's not just a guru of metal or but he's of all kinds of music, like jazz, blues, pop, anything, you name it, he knows something about it. But because another story that I've heard, that what he told me, we were talking about this one day, is how ABBA built a recording studio in Sweden. Instead of paying high taxes, they built a recording studio in Sweden for the public to use. Thus giving back all their mega dollars into things that the average person can use. But the thing about the Russian
royalty, I don't know.
I don't know that
something
that
about
story.
oil and royalties.
The oil and the royalties. I don't know that particular.
Well, it's been a while since you've seen Rich because of COVID.
It has been a while.
You'll have to ask.
Although nowadays Rich will cash on delivery. He will deliver your records personally, and I have bought a Judas Priest and a Metallica record from him, which he actually delivered to me. So excellent business guy. So.
Okay, anything else you know about ABBA that you would like to share?
Who
is the hottest chick? Or you know what? It doesn't have to be a chick. Who is the hottest member of ABBA?
I would have to say Agneta Agnetha Falkskog is the hottest, or was the hottest.
Is that the
blonde.
redhead?
She's the blonde.
Oh, she's the blonde.
Yeah, Annie Frid is the redhead. I always thought the blonde Agnetha Falkskog was the hottest in ABBA. Also, there's also something about. I talked about Rich with this. There's also something about their clothing. They used to wear like outrageous clothing too on stage, because apparently it was some kind of a tax write-off or something like that. So that's another. That's
a story for another day.
That's another day,
yeah. All right. Well, this has been Now You Know with Tyler Hawkins. Join us next time when Tyler will talk to us about the Vietnam War.